So my name is Taryn Northrup. I am a junior and I'm majoring in leadership and management of nonprofit organizations. I studied abroad in Paris for 6 weeks, London for 6 weeks, and Rome for 6 weeks. I specifically chose this program because right away I thought it was cool that it was like a nonprofit and they advertised that because that is my major, and so that kind of like enticed me right away. And then just the ability to be so flexible with with the program. So like I did get to go to Paris, London, and Rome, but I have friends who I met in like those different locations that did totally different places as me. Yeah, I was really nervous. Just I'm a homebody. Like I have never really left South Dakota. I'm from South Dakota. It all just ended up working out, and I just knew it was going to be worth it. It was just kind of getting over that initial like nervousness of being kind of on your own. I didn't know anybody. There wasn't really anybody coming from SDSU who I knew, and so it was just kind of me all by myself, and I never have done anything like that. Once I got there, I wasn't really nervous anymore. I don't know, if time just kind of flew by and you were just kind of like in the moment, traveling and making friends and taking classes. And I thought that my classes in Paris were really interesting too. I took a French history class and a class called Paris Collage, and so we like met around the city at different locations. When I was in London, I took 2 classes about sustainability, and so one of them was like just about sustainability in the 21st century, and that one was interesting because I've taken a couple other classes similar to that here, and so it is something that like I'm passionate about, and so I'm glad I was able to take a class like that. And it was cool to do that in a bigger place that just kind of addresses sustainability a little differently probably than South Dakota does. And then when I was in Italy, I did a art history class. We went to like Vatican, we went to pretty much every church in Italy, or in Rome at least, it felt like, and learned about the art and different things around there. And then the other class I did was a mythology class. In Paris, I loved my roommates. Like, I was really nervous to meet them. I didn't pick them out or anything, and I lived with 3 other girls from America, and we still talk to this day. I loved London. That was probably my favorite place that I went. It felt like America, but it was different enough that it didn't feel like America, I guess. Again, my roommate there was really awesome. When I was in London, we lived in like a big apartment, but everyone who was studying abroad through my program also lived there, but also like other study abroad programs lived there. So that was really cool because like you got to meet other American students, and the facility that we had our classes at was really, really nice, and we were just really centrally located. We were at King's Cross Station. I loved Italy. Like the weather was getting warmer, so it was just super nice. It was really like historic, and that was cool. The place that we lived, we were really close to Vatican City, so like just being able to walk past that on my way to class was kind of crazy. The program I was with actually brought you on 1 weekend trip for every location, which that was really cool because it was with your entire program. So when I was in France, they took us to Bordeaux. When I was in London, they brought us to Edinburgh. And when I was in Rome, they brought us to Taryn. With my roommates, we planned weekend trips as well. So when I was in France, we went to Barcelona and we went to Amsterdam. And then I did some day trips like outside of London. So I went to like Cambridge one day, I went to like the White Cliffs of Dover one day, I did Canterbury. And then when I was in Italy, we went to Vienna, we went to Budapest, we did Florence, we did Cinque Terre, we did like Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius, Sorrento, Capri. So when I was in Paris, that was probably the hardest location just because like it was the first one. Like it was the initial shock of like being away from home and away from everybody I knew. At the end of my time there, my boyfriend actually came and visited me. We went to like the top of the Eiffel Tower on one of our last nights, which was Valentine's Day, and it was just like super fun and very like picturesque, what you kind of think of when you think of Paris. We had like champagne on the top of the Eiffel Tower, and it was kind of like my 2 worlds meeting, and it just was like the absolute best. When I was in London, my parents came and visited, and it started off as just my parents, and then my grandma and grandpa and aunts and a couple of my cousins and my sister all ended up coming too. And so we were in London for a while, and then we flew to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, and it just was so fun to just be with all my family, but in kind of like my new home. I was really, really excited to go home, and then there was one point on the plane, and I was like, can I get a glass of wine? Because I've been drinking wine for the last 6 months, and she was like, can I see your ID? And I was 20 years old, and so I was like, oh, never mind, I'll have some water or whatever. And I feel like that kind of like stuck with me, because I was like, oh, it's over, like my time there, like being able to kind of do all these things and feeling like an adult and just super independent, like that's changing now. And so that was kind of like a weird sort of hit me moment. I feel like I'm a lot more independent. When I was in Europe, I had to just kind of figure things out for myself, and I'm really, really appreciative for that, because I just am really confident. I believe that I can pretty much do anything. The ability to adapt and to just go for things and jump in, I think that's something that I've also gained from studying abroad. I've learned a lot about different cultures and just how different people interact, and so I think going forward for like grad school and my future career, I think that's going to benefit me a lot, because I do feel like I'm really open-minded and understanding, and even if I don't totally like agree with something or how someone does something, I am much more willing to like learn why it is that they do something that way. Really think about like yourself and what you want, and I feel like for most people, like they want to travel and they want to be able to do all those things, but people just assume that the time just isn't now, like the time is later. Now is the time to go, and you might as well do it while you can get credit for doing it. You can get scholarships, you can, I don't know, like you're only young once, like you just might as well do it now.